Today we're reacting to Brittany Renner returns to the streets, and this happens, man, just like that. Didn't take too much time. Let's see what's going on. Make sure y'all pull up to the Switch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday about 5, 6 p.m. Y'all already know what it is. Pull up, let's do it.
Thank goodness the day is October 14th, 2024. I bet you don't remember what you did that day, and neither do I. But thank goodness that Instagram takes account of all times and dates when we make posts on that respective network. And on that particular day, Brittany Renner shocked the world when she said this.
What made you choose Islam? I didn't. I am a human with very limited power and awareness, but I have learned that God selects who he wills for his mercy.
The caption for that post that she read was, Allah chose me. And this was interesting because many people came into that post in the comment section with some level of support and gratitude for her conversion, while others believed that it was all a scam. It wasn't so many months ago that Brittany Renner was drunk and basically twerking on
the complete 180 of, like you said, this right here to just hello everyone. So basically what's going on, it's like, dang, you know what they be saying? They be saying that, you know, once to clear away all this, to try to find a way when you kind of wake up one day after all the violating you've done and all the nastiness you've done, motherfucker gonna switch over to religion real quick. But in this case, Allah chose her though. That's on me.
On Charleston White, and now all of a sudden Brittany Renner is a Muslim. And then of course brothers started wanting to see what was going on with that, and we started to see if she would slip out on Instagram. And did she do it? No, she didn't. She was always covered up, dressed modestly. And then we all wanted to know about Brittany Renner's dating life.
I have not been on a date since I've been Muslim. Now, there have been plenty of married Muslim men in my DMs, and just because it's permissible does not mean I have to sign up for it. I didn't come this far to be one of several, so let's be very crystal.
You have been one of several. You have been one to several niggas. One to many.
Clear on that. When you go without sex for an extended amount of time and you are honoring yourself in a way that you never have before, you really start to see where people are leaking their energy, where they lack discipline.
It's interesting that she would say that, because all of a sudden she was aware that the people that were trying to talk to her, they had bad energy and they lacked discipline. She wasn't going to be a co-wife for just anybody or at all, because hey, she was going to make a dating choice. It was going to be the right one. And to our knowledge, Brittany Renner made this choice most likely when she converted to Islam and just didn't want to tell anybody, because shortly thereafter, we started to see her make appearances with Kevin Gates. And the next thing you know, they were official. Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner were a couple. But stop the show. There's an issue. Wasn't Kevin Gates already married? Damn. Yeah, he was married to Drika Gates. And in fact, he is still legally married to Drika Gates. But we saw Brittany Renner and Kevin Gates in a relationship. So we didn't know if this was him taking on a second wife or if Drika was in the picture. And it definitely now appears that Drika Gates was no longer in the picture and was okay with Kevin Gates living his life. And so there Brittany Renner was going around with Kevin Gates, obviously receiving a large amount of scrutiny for dealing with a married man. And of course, everything.
Especially after she said that. Especially since she said that she wasn't rocking. She wasn't going like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it was the Kevin Gates mouthpiece that just finagled and was like, the nigga trying to have relations, but he's trying to do it, trying to find some loophole within his religion to go ahead and get right. You know what I'm saying? And Shorty kind of on the same thing, even though she also rocked with Kevin Gates, and she let this nigga talk to her real smooth, like in a Baton Rouge accent. You feel me? And got her up. You know what I'm saying? Got her up.
Thing that glitters isn't gold, because eventually we found out that this relationship was short-lived.
We got married April 6th and divorced May 28th.
So you're divorced?
Yes. But there is a 90-day waiting period in Islam where it's basically you have 90 days to see if you're pregnant, because then he would be responsible, right? And then also in those 90 days, it's for reconciliation because Allah wants you to stay married.
Just after 2 months of marriage, Brittany Renner announces the divorce, and Kevin Gates would back that up when he went to the BET Awards, and he would say that he didn't want to talk about it and all of that. And then the future for Brittany Renner was kind of up in the air. We didn't really know what was going to happen. And in fact, Brittany Renner was still making appearances just like a normal Muslim woman. And she was even talking about becoming more conservative.
People want me to hang on to my past. I don't have to. I am choosing removal. I'm choosing tattoo removal. Like, this is my choice. You're either going to suffer by making the sacrifice, or you're going to suffer because you're not sacrificing. My future self doesn't want these tattoos anymore. I'm just going in a different direction. At any point in time, you can change the direction of your pen. So I think for me, it's like peaceful.
Well, there's truth there. That's true. That's true. And anytime you can decide, this isn't me anymore, I'm shedding this and I'm going forward. But especially when you're on the internet, a lot of things are still alive and well, breathing, you know what I'm saying, living in people's minds, you feel me? And it doesn't go away. It's easy to say, I'm no longer with that no more, bruh. But the acts have been done, and that has to be acknowledged.
So powerful, both. I can let go. Like, I don't have to hang on to it anymore.
As you can see, she talked about changing
because
her...
I can find these pictures just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Past. And she continued to go on that tangent. Now, this is interesting because Brittany Renner, in my honest opinion, she's somewhat of a free spirit. So things like Islam or more conservative things, I would think that a person like her would have an issue with that because it is so strict. But again, this is Brittany Renner. So I believe that she feels like she's always evolving and finding her quote unquote truth, whatever that is. And of course, we hear a lot of women, especially the younger women, always talk about finding their truth. And hey, she is changing her own past by removing those tattoos. But wait, there's more. Brittany Renner would then go on to post this on Instagram. She would post this particular photo of herself, or video of herself rather, and basically, I don't know if it's an Afro wig, but it was without the hijab. And she made a post on that, and on the song in the background was Glorilla Let Her Cook. She says this: I don't have blind loyalty to any person, place, or thing. I also don't need excuses to do what I want to do because I accept whatever comes behind my decisions. It's still alhamdulillah for everything. Hope this helps. It's interesting because people started to put their opinions about this subject.
So Brittany Renner is no longer wearing a hijab and has a full-blown afro on Instagram, and talks about on her story how she had to wear braids to be able to fit her hair under a hijab, and she's not going to compromise or shrink herself to meet anyone's standards or approval. And whether
But it's the rules. Brittany. You have to follow the rules. You don't just get to do shit. Man, niggas be trying to just make shit, bro. Like, I don't know. Now, listen, I don't know all the, that's a joke. I do not know. Maybe, is this for my people who are, I think last time I said it wrong. I think I said, are Muslim, or or follow Islam. Is that, how do I say it? I'm not sure. Excuse my ignorance. But is it not, is this not, do you have to do this? You feel me? I guess this guy's going to bring it up, but it seems as if she's just trying to kind of bend the rules to live how she want to live, and move how she want to move. That's how this is what this is kind of like making me feel like.
It'd be like Islam and the culture, or acceptance from Kevin Gates, the person she's claiming she was legally married to. I'm sure that's those are one of the two references. Now, this is very interesting because people are calling BS with Brittany Renner. They're saying, hey, you took all your twerking videos down when you got with PJ Washington, and then you put them up as soon as you broke up, as soon as you're not with Kevin Gates anymore. Now you got an afro and you're like disrespecting the hijab. Some people are going to have issues with it. Some people are going to say, hey, she's living in the truth, and appreciate her for just being, I guess, her at every turn and corner.
It wasn't just the guy that we saw, the content creator. It was people in the comment section. Going to hell in multiple religions is wild. Bro, put that ish back.
Going to hell in multiple religions.
Going before the women of Islam, it's on you. Lady Cap says, she's the definition of if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Got him! This guy says, imagine she did this ish in Iran. Yeah, it'd be all bad.
Woo! Woo!
This person says, she's done cosplaying Muslim. The brother says, Kevin Gates scared you back to yourself. Individual says, don't play with God like that. The real DJ says, knew this wasn't gonna last long. You could tell it just wasn't her. Now, I want you guys to understand how Brittany Renner can do this. And I kind of want to get back to something that happened in the history of the black community. And I want to use Wu-Tang Clan as an example. RZA, who was one of the most known people of Wu-Tang Clan, is gonna explain some principles that some of you may or may not know.
What the father was able to do was, through his teachings, he was able to bring out the mathematics and I think one of the most important lessons, which is called the 12 jewels. And those are knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness.
So RZA is breaking down the 12 Jews, and he mentions somebody by the name of Father Allah. Now, Father Allah, or Allah the Father, is known as Clarence 13X. Clarence 13X was a member of the Nation of Islam who was from Danville, Virginia, and then was in the New York City area, and I believe he was from Harlem. And then he was kicked out, allegedly, of the Nation of Islam for gambling. So what he did was, this particular teaching of the 12 Jews actually was a teaching that Malcolm X used to teach to ministers in the Nation of Islam, for what I understand, and it was only secret teachings that should not be put out there to the public. But what happened was Clarence 13X decided to, if you want to say, perverse the Nation of Islam teachings and take it to the kids or to the children, and started feeding the people with this information. And of course, what happened in 1969 was brutal. He was assassinated for this, right? And so when you look at the nations of gods and earth, and they have a whole lot of influence on hip hop, Nas, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, Supreme Team, 50 Cent, a lot of these guys use some of these teachings, right? Especially in the idea of the mathematics and teachings like that. Well, it's a perverse ideology of the Nation of Islam. And then some could argue that Nation of Islam is a perverted version of the Sunni original Islam. And so when you look at Brittany Renner and Kevin Gates, it's arguable that they're using a perverse religion of Islam anyway that suits them. So for her, it's okay to change the religion and make it fit her. It's no different than what Christians do all the time. I mean, you can go to some churches, stop the show, in Atlanta, and now you have two gay men that are the pastor. You have a pastor married to a first husband. Now, many would argue that is a perverted ideology of Christianity. And for many folks, it will be. The reality is this: Brittany Renner was not going to conform to anything that was serious. As soon as things got too hard or got too difficult.
Yeah. Okay, I see you, O'Shea Cook then, my nigga. I see you.
She was going to go back to herself. And we all knew that. I was trying to give her an opportunity to say that maybe she has changed. But she didn't. And most people are like this. And then when you see women like Brittany Renner that kind of have, kind of a weak infrastructure, this is not uncommon. And I think that guys need to realize that when you're dealing with a woman that's, dealt with some level of trauma and dealt with some level of, can you say, abuse or self-esteem issues, hey, they may be able to stick with it for a few months, but for a whole year and change their life, they're going to go back to what they were. And
Yeah, I'm like, damn, it's like when you are having these sugar cravings, when you're trying to kick sugar or kick certain things, like, bad food, you start having these cravings and it's hard to fight them off. So you might sneak around, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have my cheat day and I'm gonna eat me one Twizzler, you feel me? Instead of the whole pack. It's like that. You get the craving, like, damn, man, like this lifestyle change. It's the same reason why I feel like, it's important to do things like have a good early morning routine. Now, if you can keep up with that every single day, 365 days out the year, great. Great. You know what I'm saying? Great. But, if you do it in spurts, you do it for a while, you have a strict regimen for a while, then you fall back, you fall off the path, get back on the path. Fall off the path, get back on the path. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's a good thing. But, like, in regards to something like this, you aren't supposed to be wavering. Once you make this commitment, you're supposed to make this commitment because this is a godly thing. You know what I'm saying? So, instead of doing this, knowing that, maybe it's better to, maybe it's better to, one, do the research, learn, understand, and really look within and say, am I ready for this? Is this somebody that I am? Instead of doing this and then ultimately disrespecting, the religion as well as, God, however it is for you. You see what I'm saying?
And if you don't understand that, it's okay. And the fact that she even chose Kevin Gates in the first place, well, we all knew that Brittany Renner eventually could return back to the streets. And after 9 months, I think it's safe to say, or even 8 months, she'll be back posting booty pictures, and she'll be still saying, it's still Allah, I still love Allah, in her own mind, because she'll find a way to still make it okay. And then, after about 2 years, she'll leave the religion completely and go back to clapping it up. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shady Jackson back at it again with another.
Yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Crazy. Like the video, so comment up, binge the channel. I love you. I appreciate y'all. I'm great for y'all, bro. For real, bro. We gone. ADD let